Welcome to the Black Sparrow Media Internet Broadcast Network.
You are listening to Linux in the Ham Shack. LHS is a podcast about Linux, open source, and amateur radio for everyone. Now here are your hosts, Russ, K5TUX, Cheryl, W5MOO, and Bill, NE4RD.
Well, hello everybody and welcome. You have tuned in to episode number 492 of Linux in the Ham Shack, the most terrific amateur radio podcast on the internet. Episode 492 is a short topics episode, so thank you for tuning in for that. We're glad you're with us. And before we jump on into our topics for this week, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I'm Russ, K5TUX.
I'm Cheryl, W5MOO.
And I'm Bill, NE4RD.
All right, so that means we're all here for a change, and that's a good thing. We only have one more episode before our annual break, so we hope you'll tune in for the, I don't know what we're calling it. It's a weekender / year-end wrap-up kind of thing. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get down to announcements, but we've got some topics to cover, so let's go ahead and cover them. And we got a nice pre-made topic for us this time around, so that always helps when the news falls into our lap. And we'll let Bill hit this one up.
Sure, yeah, this is the Youth on the Air Camp 2023 application period opened. Applications are now being accepted for campers interested in attending the Youth on the Air Camp. Licensed amateur radio operator ages 15 through 25 who want to attend are encouraged to apply online at youthontheair.org. The camp is scheduled to take place July 16th through July 21st, 2023 at the Carleton University campus in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. For the best chance of being selected, an application should be submitted by 2359 Zulu on January 15th, 2023. Campers will be selected by the working group and notified by February 1st. To encourage attendance from across the Americas, allocations for campers are being held open for various areas of North, Central, and South America. If countries do not use their allocation, or should someone with an allocation decline acceptance, those positions will be filled from the remaining pool of applicants. As this will be an ongoing process, everyone will not receive notification of acceptance at the same time. Preference will be given to the first-time attendees. Applications will continue to be accepted through May 31st. For additional information, please contact Camp Director Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, at director@youthontheair.org. And, of course, that came from the press release.
Youths on the Air. So, very good. And even though this one's time sensitive, it's like way out there. So I think we got it covered this time.
Yeah.
So even if you're listening to this for like 4 months from now, probably still good. All right. So since this next one's about Montana and Bill lives in Montana, we'll have Cheryl read it.
Our next story is a ham on Montana PBS, produced as part of a new certificate and documentary film program by students in the School of Journalism and the School of Visual and Media Arts at the University of Montana. This short film takes an in-depth look at the particular ways in which amateur radio enthusiasts remain active both locally and globally.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, what is all of that? Yeah.
Something happened there.
Bad copy. So they'll be investigating the culture of Montana amateur radio operators, or hams, as they recount their admiration for the global amateur radio community. This niche hobby has produced long-lasting friendships between radio enthusiasts around the globe and has been a pastime of choice for much of their lives.
Nice of them to call it niche.
Niche.
Is it really?
Yeah, I haven't actually seen the documentary, but I just kind of watched the very beginning, like the first minute or so, just to see if the links and everything else worked. And I saw this email pass around from the Montana guys talking about it, and then Jim Wilson, K5ND down in Texas from, of course, the K2BSA sent me a note too. Hey, somebody mentioned this to me. Check it out. So it looks like a very well done documentary from the college. So I can't really claim anything else to it because I haven't watched it, but it looks pretty interesting. It should be available because it is on PBS. It might be area restricted, but I don't know how that works for PBS in the US.
I don't know how that works either. As a quick like flash topic, I saw something, I didn't put it in the notes, but I saw something about the fact that South Dakota was reissuing license plates, and that included amateur radio plates. I don't know if that means they've added them or if they're just going to be different, but there's something going on in South Dakota regarding amateur radio license plates. So there you go.
It's interesting.
It was literally like a stub topic. And so that's how much credit and reporting we gave it. All right. And wow, amateur radio wrapped up real quick. So well, I guess we'll move on into open source. You know, it's funny. We spent all that time trying not to get any topics from the RSGB, but now that feed is gone, there's like nothing.
I did look around. I did, but it was mostly local interest topics and stuff like that. And I mean, although the ham documentary is kind of sort of Montana-ish, it's just more generalized in the hobby. So I thought at least it was slightly relevant to our topic. But if people have news items or something like that they want us to mention or talk about on the show, they can always email us or, send it to us on the socials.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We love topic suggestions. So if you have any, please send them our way. And the next one here is a nice little short topic as well. So we'll have Cheryl hit this one because the next two are definitely going to be Bill's and mine. So one more down, and this should be an easy one, assuming Bill didn't screw up the cut and paste this time.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was just like, what is that supposed to be? Okay, never mind. I'll just wing it on my own. So, okay, so our next story in the open source category is Open Source Hub. And it says, Open Source Hub was created to connect projects to people and ease code base onboarding. Maintainers can tag their projects to topics like education and social good, so contributors can search, select, and quickly onboard to projects that matter most to them. OSH also offers a verified program for maintainers to have their projects highlighted on the website and within OSH's communities. Open Source Hub allows maintainers to provide contribution, best practices, support guidance, and interactive visual walkthroughs of their code base using Code C maps. With maps, understand how files are connected, see how a pull request fits into the larger architecture, and more.
And that came from opensourcehub.io. I wonder if are they going to charge $8 and they're going to have a bunch of people impersonating code bases and projects? And
it doesn't look like that so far. But I ran into a couple of other topics that kind of like sort of pointed this direction, and I kind of searched through our history to see if we'd ever mentioned this before, and I thought we did, but I couldn't find it in context of any of our show notes, so I figured I'd mention it again as kind of a source of finding open source projects. It could be more of a, kind of a discovery area too, to find things that, are topic related, of projects that maybe are not necessarily out there in the repo and stuff like that, kind of things we like looking for and finding. So I just thought it was kind of an interesting discovery mechanism for open source software.
That's cool. It's always a nice place to have a good repo, sort of like an offline repo or a clearinghouse of information. Always nice to find those centralized repos of information. So, all right, very good. Well, we'll get Bill to do this next one because it looks like it's long and wordy and could be
a lot of
fraught with peril. So, all right, we'll have you do it.
Yeah, this is a good open source topic for the Utes as well. So, keeping sort of a Ute theme for this one. This is Hack Clubs. Hack Club is a global community of thousands of high school makers, where organizers, coders, hackers, painters, engineers, musicians, writers, volunteers. We make things. We want others to make things too. Hack clubs typically meet for 1.5 hours each week in high schools, maker spaces, community centers, churches, and any other venue where teenagers can gather. As a club leader, you get members, mostly beginners, started on something to learn and create. Then members work at their own pace, building websites, apps, and games and presenting them at the end. And basically, this is like a tools kind of place to kind of aggregate these hack clubs. This is a, kind of a international, global, international And they have tools there. So yeah, they have a let's see, to get your club to get your club going and growing. You can chat with hundreds of club leaders in our Slack community. You'll be invited to a space for Hack Club leaders to ask questions and chat and share projects and attend weekly live chats. They have tools. We build tools such as Sprig that your members can use to make projects within meetings. Built more of them with us. Built more. That's interesting. That's definitely them. Build more of them with us in our Slack community. Let's see. Come prepared to every meeting with over 100 workshops, 3 years worth, that guide your club members through making fun and creative projects. So they have some meeting content there for you if you're getting your club together and started. They have amazing stickers for marketing your club shipped directly to you and your club members. They do have a nonprofit bank account. So they have a 501c3 status and restricted fund with Hack Club Bank to fundraise, accept donations, and buy things. They do weekly events from Hack Nights to AMAs to weirder events. The Slack community has live events for leaders and members alike every week. They have a basket of free tools. We're always building new tools for leaders, such as Sprig. They must be mentioning Sprig a lot. We've also got free subscriptions to Figma Pro, Postman, and more for running a great club. And they say existing clubs are welcome. When an established CS clubs join, I'm assuming that's computer science clubs join, they get all the Hack Club benefits: Zoom Pro, stickers, our Slack community workshops, the works. They're welcome to use the Hack Club name or keep their existing one. So this would be interesting for those high schoolers that are already in like a little computer club or something like that, and maybe want to affiliate themselves with the international group that has a bunch of extra tools and resources for you to kind of get your club going, especially if you're a little stagnant in content and stuff like that, don't really know where to start. This would be an awesome tool for those youths in the high schools to build their clubs. So this looks like a pretty good resource. And of course, the link to the club Hack Club thing is in the show notes.
All right, very good. The only problem, I think, is that you've broken the first rule of Hack Clubs.
Yeah, I talked about it, right? First rule of Hack Club is don't talk about Hack Club.
That's all right. We can do that around here. Hopefully we won't level any cities. All right, so...
No making soap.
Was that a spoiler? I think that might have been. How old is Fight Club now? I think I'm out of the woods on that one. So.
Oh, you think so?
I hope so.
It's in 1999.
Oh, yeah. 23 years. I think I'm out of the woods on that one.
Yeah.
I think I can
You haven't seen it by yet, right?
Right. All right. So next on the list, we have Asahi Linux Alpha released. And Asahi, for those who wonder, means rising sun. So I don't know if this actually has anything to do with Japan. It might be produced in Japan. I didn't read like that deeply into it, but here we go. From the release notes, we have, quote, "We're really excited to finally take this step and start bringing Linux on Apple Silicon to everyone." That's read M1 chip. "This is only the beginning and things will move even more quickly going forward. Keep in mind that this is still very early and an alpha release. It is intended for developers and power users. If you decide to install it, we hope you'll be able to help us out by filing detailed bug reports and helping debug issues. That said, we welcome everyone to give it a try. Just expect things to be a bit rough. Behind the scenes, this release brings with it several future compatibility features. What this means is that users who install it will be able to keep up with all future improvements by simply upgrading their packages. No reinstalling necessary," end quote. And this is based on Arch, of course. So, so from their descriptive page, Asahi Linux is a project and community with the goal of porting Linux to Apple Silicon Macs, read M1, starting with the 2020 M1 Mac Mini, MacBook Air, and MacBook Pro. Our goal is not to just make Linux run on these machines, but to polish it to the point where it can be used as a daily OS. Doing this requires a tremendous amount of work, as Apple Silicon is an entirely undocumented platform. In particular, we will be reverse engineering the Apple GPU architecture and developing an open source driver for it. Asahi Linux is developed by a thriving community of free and open source software developers. And I don't know exactly when this release was released, but LWN mentioned it in a November publication. So it's not super old. So it sounds interesting. It is available. It runs inside of Mac OS using a script. So there's more to this. And since I actually have an M1 Mac Mini, I may be exploring this further. And if so, we might do a deeper dive into it. But for those with that particular hardware, this might be something you're interested in. So check it out. And a link to the article and Asahi Linux will be in the show notes. All right, so moving.
So which version was this?
Asahi Linux?
Yeah, did they mention a version number?
They didn't mention a version. They just said it was an alpha release.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was looking at the tagged releases and stuff like that. There's an RC 7.2 out there, and that's based on kernel 6.1. And I think they're pushing out a 6.2 version as well. That was just done 22 hours ago. Oh my God.
All right. I think, speaking of kernel version 6, I installed that in the latest updates to the repos in Pop! OS have kernel 6. And it seems to have fixed that hang on shutdown thing. So
interesting. I'm running the Xan mod, so I've been running 6 for a little bit.
Yeah, I just upgraded my Pop! OS machine like yesterday, I think, and it shut down for the first time. Normally, without me pressing the button. So that was kind of cool. All right, so something to be said for the 6.0 kernel. All right, I guess they're up to 6.1, but it's the one in Pop! OS was 6.0 something. So
yeah, that's what I got. 6.0 as well. 6.0.10, I think. Yeah, 6.0.10.
I think it was 6.06 on Pop! OS, but whatever. All right, so moving on to Linux in the Ham Shack topics, we're going to talk about something that's broken.
Yeah.
Unless you got it to work. You can tell us whether you got it to work after you read it. So
I did.
Okay.
I did. So here he is. We got a couple items here. The first one is CatRadio. So this is in case you're calling your cat. Now, CatRadio is a PC control software for radio receivers and transmitters with a simple and intuitive graphical interface. The main commands on the the main commands used on the radio are collected in a single window without the need to go find them on the device itself, often hidden in complicated menus with not very ergonomic keys and displays. It also allows full control of the radio without taking your eyes off the PC, because, you should never look at the radio. Now a fundamental accessory and focal point in an amateur radio station. And, your compile requirements are hamlib 4.5, and you most likely will have to bring that down and compile it. You do need to flag out the disable static for your configure execution. And Ubuntu or Pop definitely needs, you need to install libtool, libusb 1.0.0-dev, and libreadline-dev. I can't say dot or dash today. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so if you do that, I did get this working. I know Russ and I kind of played around with this, a little bit earlier in the week. And we both gave up. I think to some point we were both trying to get it working. And I finally built everything on my box, my spare little box, my little XPS 13, so I could plug in the ICOM 703 to it directly, because I don't want to break anything on my working machine. And it did connect up fine with my IC 703. You can always tell because it starts clicking the radio, and then all of a sudden you can see the frequency readout. A couple of oddities with the 703, I noticed, like it wouldn't show the BVFO frequency. And I'm not sure if it's just something related to the radio itself, or maybe that's a rig control thing, because it does obviously use hamlib to do all that stuff. And I don't use hamlib for it regularly, so I'm not really familiar if that's a known thing or not. But it did seem to work. It did pop up and give you it reminds me of Grig, which we have talked about probably a long time ago. It gives you a nice little interface. It's written in Qt, so it's going to be all cutie and stuff like that.
It's so cute.
And it exposes all the buttons for the bands, and then, it gives you a little knob that you can dial and stuff like that. It's not a bad looking interface, and it's still fairly new. I think it's only like version 2 or something like that. No, sorry, 1.3.0. So it's still early in its lifespan. And as we know, a lot of these projects come from, the need for the person to solve their own problems. So, your mileage may vary if you want to try this out. If you don't already have something you want to play with, this is something definitely just to kind of look at and try. There is, he does offer a couple of, executables or binaries for Windows and stuff like that. And there's one there that says it works for Ubuntu, but I didn't have any success running it straight away. I think were you able to run that at all?
No, I just did the build.
Yeah, I think you had to run the build too. because I think it's compiled with something different, or it was missing some libraries and stuff like that. So anyway, it's much easier just to compile it from scratch. And it's not terribly hard to compile, although you may have to do a little editing of the makefile as we did play around with. So, yeah, your mileage may vary. So, this would probably not be for, the new user to try out. There was a email in the Linux ham list that I found this on, and there was a lot of just hate messages going back and forth. I can't see a download link and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, there's clearly a download link, although it is in Italian. So you may have to, put your Google filter on the website so you can see that it says, downloads and GitHub source and stuff like that. But anyway, it's totally available on GitHub. And, yeah, your mileage may vary. If, you want to try it out, try it out.
Yeah, I think the thing we saw from the Ubuntu download, or maybe one of the original source downloads, was that the ham lib was built on the Windows DLLs. And so...
Oh, yeah. So
we just...
the repo.
Right.
You download the repo, you actually clone it. Yeah.
So we just downloaded ham lib and built that, and then linked that into the build of CatRadio. So that way you have native ham lib. And a link to the CatRadio information, the GitHub repo and everything will be in the show notes, of course. So check it out if you like. I'll probably work with it again and see if I can get it to work. Since you finally got it to work, I should be able to do the same. So I'll give it a shot.
It's a challenge now, right?
It is a challenge now, yes. All right. So the last story we have for tonight is, I'm going to say this is Prevasat. Sounds like
some kind of drug.
I know, it sounds like something you take for cholesterol. But anyway, Prevasat is a satellite tracking software for observing purposes. Very easy to use. It shows positions of artificial satellites in real-time or manual mode. Prevasat is able to make predictions of their passes, predictions of METOP and Cosmos SkyMed flares, ISS transits, and several other calculations. Prevasat implements the SGP-4 model, revised in 2006, which uses the TLE orbital elements in order to calculate the geocentric position of artificial satellites. Prevasat shows satellites in a world map view or in a sky map view and is able to calculate all passes of satellites for any location in the world. Prevasat is free software licensed under the GNU General Public License. And you can download it, sadly, from SourceForge. But,
that might be the first problem.
So
anyway. I did run this. Did you even get a chance to look at it?
I did not get a chance to look at it. No.
Yeah.
Why would someone want to use this instead of gpredict for
gpredict? Yeah. I thought maybe this would be something different and neat and stuff like that. I was able to download it. Actually, technically you don't have to download it. It's in the repo. So if you just apt-get install, at least in Pop! OS, it was available in the repo. So I'm assuming it's probably in the LTS repo. Your mileage may vary on this one as well. I did get several weird errors that I was not able to get out of, and then it thought it was still running and it clearly wasn't running. And then it started again. It looks like it could be pretty neat. But I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't know. I don't know because it was not very happy. Something about a visual.txt file it was complaining about. And then I'm like, I had it download everything and it's still not happy. But anyway, your mileage may vary. Try it out. Check it out. It's in the repo. So there's no effort to get it installed. If you're in Ubuntu or Pop! OS. But yeah, gpredict, I think, at least it doesn't error out like this one did. This one actually errored and core dumped on me. So.
All right. Well, it sounds like that might be a challenge too. If anyone wants to give it a try, you're certainly welcome to. So check out Prevasat. The link to the information in the SourceForge will be in the show notes. All right, cool. That brings us down to the end of our short topics for tonight. So we do have a couple of announcements. I don't recall if there was any feedback. I will make sure that we get any feedback and wrap it up on the next episode, just to make sure we don't leave anything hanging before we disappear for close to a month. So everyone buckle up for that. Be like, ooh, I can go do my life. So anyway, let's go ahead with a couple of quick announcements. The next episode is going to be our year-end wrap-up and weekender episode. So Because it's a year-ender, we like to invite listeners to join us. So if you are able to connect to Discord with a microphone, we would love to have you be part of the program. We'll do the thing where we record off of Discord. I think we managed to hit that last year, so we should be able to do it again this year. And so we'll do the show that way. I don't remember if we did Mumble. Did we do Mumble for the last one?
I think we can.
We can do both, maybe.
There's a weird issue there. So I couldn't talk on Mumble. I don't know. I think we did it all in Mumble last time. We just said we'll just deal with it. I mean, technically, I can record my side locally on top of that. So just so you have me separate, and you'll have
everybody else.
You can also record you separately.
Okay, so yeah, we'll have the audio streaming to Discord like we usually do and have the chat in there. But if you want to participate, I guess we'll do that via Mumble. So make sure you have your Mumble client working and a microphone. If you would like to join us, we'd love to have you. So get ready for that. We've given you a week's notice. So hopefully we'll have a few folks join us for the last show of the year. And then I'm going to kind of let Bill take this one a little bit. I have spun up a Minecraft server for Linux in the Ham Shack community. People who listen to the show are welcome to join it for sure. However you join Minecraft servers, it is multiplayer. It'll be up, full time. So you'll always have access to it. And is there any special thing, since you're the Minecraft guru and I'm definitely a noob at this, anything people should know about connecting to the server?
We don't have any advanced admin tools set up and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's a play nice type server. Don't go down burning people's stuff down and stuff like that. If we have to implement a password for you people, then it's too much, but no. You just add the server into your client. We are running the 1.19.2. So basically the latest release. It is running a Fabric server. So there are some optimizations there for some of the things. We don't have everything quite, all server side yet. So, please feel free to connect up with your 1.19.2 client. And, you should be able to use any client side mods without a problem. And of course it's minecraft.bluecows.com.
Well, it is. And I also added it to,
right?
I added it to the Linux and the Ham Shack domain too. So you can go to minecraft.lhspodcast.info. That also works.
Oh, okay. Cool. There you go. So both places. It's a 20-person server right now. So we'll see how it works. I don't know how many people are interested in playing and stuff like that, but we're just in early game stuff right now. So I think we might have some iron. That's about it.
It's definitely very new. It was literally spun up earlier today. So but it is out there.
No farms, nothing's built.
Right. But if you're a player, we'd love to have you. I'm learning as fast as I possibly can. Bill is like smoking me at every turn, but yeah, it is what it is. So, all right. I think that's all I had for announcements. Like I said, any feedback that we get, we'll wrap up all on the last episode. So, we'll get to that next week. And before we go on and get out of here, we'll bring Cheryl back in so she can do our new subscribers, supporters, and live show participants.
Alrighty then. So this week we didn't have any new subscribers or Patreons, but we did have Jim, Moni, and Eric Wilkins join us on Facebook. We had at East KY Warren and at KB9LXH join us on Twitter. There were no new people on YouTube. Our mailing list, Joe, KB9LXH, joined us, and no new people on Discord. And in our live chat, we had Winston, KD2WLL.
And thanks, Winston, for showing up for the live show. We really appreciate that. And that actually brings us down to the end. So there's nowhere else to go from here except on about the rest of your day. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope we will catch you for the next episode, our Weekender and Year-End Wrap-Up. And if you want to join us on Mumble, please do that. We'd love to have you. In the meantime, have a great week, and we'll catch you all for the next one. This has been episode number 492 of Linux in the Ham Shack. I'm Russ, K5TUX.
I'm Cheryl, W5MOO.
And I'm Bill, NE4RD73.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Linux in the Ham Shack. LHS is a community-sponsored podcast. Our website is located at lhspodcast.info. You can support the podcast by visiting the LHS Patreon page at patreon.com/LHS Podcast, or by using the contribute list on the homepage. We have a presence on Discord, Facebook, IRC, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also drop us an email at info@lhspodcast.info or leave us a voicemail at 1-909-LHS-SHOW. That's 1-909-547-7469. Visit the online LHS merchandise store at shop.lhspodcast.info for fun and fashionable show-themed merchandise. Until next time, remember to always heed your hedonism.